When you work in training, when you work in education, you have to have a high capacity of empathy and putting yourself in others' shoes. So for me, into my day-to-day, I try to put myself in the CEO shoes and see, okay, what's the brand strategy? Where do we want to go?
What are the main advice you can give to like a learning manager or to a HR manager if they want to create an immersive or like an impactful onboarding?
So if I work in Sephora, I know everything about Rabanne and I can fall in love with Rabanne. That's also something I wanted for them to feel proud. I'm very proud to be a part of the brand and a part of this family. Another thing that we try to do is exactly that, since we know it's a bit long and we know that the learners don't really have the time to do it, to be able to cut it. So if I get out of the game in chapter 2, that I can come back and continue from where I left it. Rabanne has a very strong human heritage, and it's something that for me is strategic to pass this message. So for me, the main strategy, it's evoking a feeling and evoking this connection, human connection with the brand, and to be able to say, oh, I feel reflected on this brand, or there are things that they're edgy, they're cool, or there's the human aspect about it.
Hello everybody, today we receive Rabanne from Puig Group. We receive Montse, which is in charge of retail training, education and client experience. We have developed together already a game for Christmas for client experience, and we developed an onboarding program for all the new joiners from the retail team in store. So we are going to discuss about all the details, all the KPI and everything. So can you introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. First of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's always lovely to come and to see you all. For my experience, so as you were saying, I work for Rabanne. I do the retail experience and also education. And basically, so what we do, it's interesting, is it's something that it's not always linked. But here, what in Rabanne we do, we try to link these two sectors, because we have the education, so the training part. We're going to train our wholesale team. And for them to know about the products, etc. But then we also do the entire experience to make sure that our clients then have a brand loyalty. So that's my day-to-day life. We do different VAC events, but then at the same time, we work a lot on the training and, for example, the onboarding, which it's the topic of the day.
Okay, so for those watching us on YouTube, you can see some extract of the games with highlight on screen. Can you tell us a bit about the market? How many people you train? How many countries? How many language?
We have a very specific situation at Rabanne in Puig Group in general, because we have 3 types of different wholesale personnel. So we have some people who are specific. They work specific for the brand. So they only work for Rabanne and they know everything about Rabanne. Then we have some who work for the group and they're supposed to know about Rabanne, but also about the other brands that the group contains. And then we have a third part of people who are externals. So they work for the entire luxury market. And this is something that we can talk about later again, but it's something that is very challenging as well when it comes to training and engagement, because you see that the person that you have in front of you, they're actually bombarded by plenty of information all the time. And that's where it gets more complexified, our job, and also this engagement that we want to have with them, for them to then have with the clients. So we work with 7 languages, more or less, and then markets, they would do some adaptations if needed. And markets were all over the world for now, except from China, that we didn't enter the Chinese market.
7 language, and so you are at a global scale when you...
Yes, so we work in a global scale. We have all markets worldwide, and what we do is we develop the global strategy, we develop the global training, and then we try to also adapt it to the different needs of different markets. But basically that's it. We work on the core of the training, and then we pass it on to the markets.
Okay, and it's only one LMS, one learning management system, which is Teach on Mars, right?
We work on Teach on Mars,
okay,
but not only. For example, when it comes to other retailers, sometimes there's also this legal thing that goes in between where the learners, they cannot have access to external platforms. So they would use the retailer learning platform that they have. And that's why for us it was crucial to work with the SCORM format or something like that, that we can make sure that we work on something once, but then that we can apply it everywhere. So we can apply it on, as I was saying, Sephora University, for example. That's their platform, in Teacher Mars, where we work, and also send it through a link through WhatsApp and something like that, so that everyone has access to it.
We are here today to discuss about the onboarding program we just launched. So why is it strategic for you to do like onboarding?
Okay, so it's something that it's crucial actually for us, for the department. And even though we have a lot of projects going on, it's one of the core projects that we have today. And the reason why, it's because I feel like when you work in training, when you work in education, you have to have a high capacity of empathy and putting yourself in others' shoes. So for me, into my day to day, I try to put myself in the CEO shoes and see, okay, what's the brand strategy? Where do we want to go? On the learner's shoes, and understand that they have so much information every day. And to be honest, if I'm working on standing up all day long for 8 hours, talking to people, the last thing I want to do, it's to learn about the product so I can understand their reality. And then at the end, we have this challenge of our clients. So the people who are the brand awareness that we have today as a maison, as a house, luxury house. So we're a house that has a lot of richness when it comes to heritage, when it comes to know-how. And however, people know us mainly for 1 million. And that's something that we wanted to challenge. That's something that we wanted to break through. And so create not only this engagement with our learners, with the people who work at wholesales, but also with a client that it's in front of us. And we know that you can do a lot of campaigns, etc. But at the end of the day, your ambassador is the one who is working at the wholesale. The person that is talking to our clients, it's them. So those who are going to pass the message and pass also the heritage and the know-how and the prideness, the pride of working for Rabanne, it's going to be them. So that's why that's why this onboarding was so important for us.
To understand, for example, I'm recently joined Sephora, for example, I will have access to this onboarding about Rabanne, right?
Yes.
It's for those people.
It's for everybody. It's for everyone that it's selling at a point of sale of Rabanne. So and that's why, I'll go into details to let me know if it's too much. But that's why we wanted to do, we created a training module, this onboarding, which is very basic. So we make sure that you touch all the bases when it comes to heritage, and also when it comes to the products, to make sure that, as you were saying, so if I work in Sephora, I know everything about Rabanne, and I can fall in love with Rabanne. That's also something that I wanted to do. I wanted for them to feel proud of Rabanne. And it's something that I can also say about myself. When I arrived to Rabanne, to work for Rabanne, I have to admit there is so many things about the heritage, etc., that I had no idea about. And today I'm very proud to be a part of the brand and a part of this family, as you can tell. But it's because I was inside and I got to know it. And that's kind of the main challenge that we wanted to break through the onboarding.
Why is it strategic for you, the onboarding, like for luxury house? Why is strategic? Like you have different house, they will sell product from different house. So the aim is to have something more wow.
For me, the aim, there's obviously the basic aim. I want them to know the pillars, and I want them that if one client comes to the point of sale and they ask for a product, they know what to say. At least, for example, for a fragrance, they know the 3 main accords or something like that. That's basic, but that can be done in a lot of ways. We don't need an onboarding for that. I can just print them in a paper and they learn about it. So for me, the main strategy is just, it's evoking a feeling and invoking this, as I was saying, this pride and this human connection with the brand, and to be able to say, oh, I feel reflected on this brand, or there are things that they're edgy, they're cool, or there's the human aspect about it. Rabanne has a very strong human heritage when it comes to diversity, when it comes to Mr. Rabanne's history in his own life. And it's something that for me it's strategic to pass this message, because then at the end, if I am the learner and I have different brands in front of me, at the end, the one that I fall in love the most for, it's the one that I'm going to push for the most.
Did you saw like a recent evolution in terms of what people are expecting for an onboarding, or like with the new generation?
Yeah,
they are more like small content, video
Yeah.
content? Do you have like, did you see something more like?
So yeah, definitely that's something that we keep in mind. We know that today everybody, because we're talking about younger generations, but also us, anyone that has a smartphone, we're always on this constant stimulation, this constant dose of dopamine, and this engagement that we have with social media, and that's something that we learn from actually, and we apply it to our strategy for the onboarding or for any training formats that we do. Make sure that it's short, that it's engaging, that it has a surprise factor, that it's not linear, to make sure to adapt also to the audience that we have in front of us.
What we heard from our clients is that the new generation, speaking about the young generation, is more like they disconnect very quickly.
Yeah.
And we need to make them like active by doing something like a game experience when learning. Otherwise, they just cut their brain, and about 1 or 2 minutes they want small content or like things where they are active, they are doing something. So
yeah, it's exactly that. And we can see, for example, because now we're talking about training, so training the wholesale team. But however, when it comes to client experience, that we try to do this exactly same thing. We know that only by talking to the client, it's not enough. So it's also a message that we try to pass to our wholesale team for them to also know how to talk to our clients. So we maybe make, as you were saying, an experience where it's sensorial. You touch something, and we know that while they're touching and they're discovering, you keep on talking to them about the product, to have this immersive experience and more engagement.
okay. And I think this is the reason why you choose Emraude to do this onboarding, no?
Yes.
What was the reason? Why Emraude for an onboarding? Why gamification?
Yes.
Why interactivity?
So when it comes to the formats, gamification, activity, etc., it's because of what we were saying before. I know that I wanted to be engaging. I know that I wanted to have this very varied and very immersive and sensorial. So at the end, even though we're doing it on a smartphone, but you have this traveling in time, things like that are sensorial, and I knew that that's something that how I wanted it to be aboard. I know that it's also something that it's new, at least for Rabanne, so for the learners who are learned on Rabanne. So that's why the format, sensorial, engaging, fast-paced. And then Emraude, but basically because I knew that there's also this, first of all, obviously this human connection, and then I saw how we understand each other and how you can understand very well my needs and what I wanted. And also there's a level of exigence where I know sometimes I can be very annoying, but I know that you are up to the level and that you are on the same vibe when it comes to exigence. And then that's something also that gives you peace, and you know that even it's your project, your baby, but you're living in good hands.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of the reasons why people come to see us, for the exigence and the way we work and the quality behind. So you just talk about travel through time. So we can talk a bit now about the project we did together.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a travel through time. What was the main goal when thinking about what you were going to put inside this onboarding? You wanted more completion, more engagement?
I wanted more. I mean, obviously you want completion. If you spend so much time working on this project, you want it to be done from beginning to the end. And that's why, but that's when you work more into the details of it to make sure that it's engaging. I think if I look in the big picture, what I wanted, yes, I think the main goal that I wanted was engagement. And the main goal that I wanted was as this immersion on the brand, this immersion on the house, knowing how Mr. Rabanne, he was not he didn't do a fashion designer school, that he was an architect, talking about how he broke also what was seen to be normal. He used to make dresses that were made out of metal, they were assembled, it was never sewing. So stuff like this that can create an engagement and that can also help not only give our learners, and the people in wholesale team to have a speech, but as I was saying before, to discover more about the brand. I think that's when I arrived to Rabanne, that's what frustrated me the most, to see how so many people don't know about the richness that we have. So yeah, for me it would be engagement. And then obviously completion rate, because if they start, I want them to be able to finish it. But that's two different challenges, because the first one would be, how do you tell the story, and how also you link. Oh, that was also very challenging, and working with the team with Emraude. How can we link different places in Paris with our products, with our different pillars? There's not always an obvious link, and also doing the entire storytelling behind it. It was also one of the challenges that we faced.
Talking about storytelling, can you give us the story? So I think it's about a little, how do you say, pastille?
Yeah, pastille. 69, pastille, the pastille 69.
So we follow pastille through time. What is the story?
Okay, so basically it's that you have 5 main places that marked the history of Mr. Rabanne. And then you have a pastille, which is this pastille that you can see here. This pastille, it's iconic for the brand when it comes once again to the storytelling. But because it's what Mr. Rabanne did one of the first bags with. So it's, you take pastilles like this, you assemble them, and then the chaîne, the old toilets back in the days, where you have to
chasse d'eau, okay.
So it's something that differentiates Rabanne from all other brands. So what we did in the game, it's taking these 5 places that marked the history of Rabanne, and then what you would do is travel through time, but also led by this pastille 69. So there's this pastille that goes through a tunnel, and then when it passes through the tunnel, it arrives to one of the places. You would have some pedagogic side where you are learning, which you see a video, you do some games, and you learn about either the product or the heritage. And then once you pass all the games that you have, you come back to through time, and you travel to the next place until the end. When you do the 5 locations, you come back to today, Rabanne today, and 2025.
So 5 different destinations, 5 different time.
Yes.
So you go in all 90s and.
No, we start from the 60s.
60s. Okay.
Yeah, 60s, 17, 80.
From the beginning to the end, the construction of the project together.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a bit the different steps? I remember we did some design, very gold, and then after you decided to go in another direction. So you work with Jade, which is a project manager, and you have the first step was the game design. So basically you decided the scenario.
Yeah.
After the design, can you give us a bit the different
step?
Yeah, the step.
So first of all, I came to you, to Jed, and we talk a little bit about the project that I had in mind. You pitched the idea of traveling through time, and then after that it would be so designing every specific place, also going through the mechanism. So how are we gonna go from point A to point B? Always keeping in mind this thing of, I don't want my learners to disconnect, to get out of the game. And then, at the beginning, it's also different perception. So at the beginning, the first version that I would get in this black and gold, which is, it was a little bit gaspy vibe, which is also the perception that people may have through Rabanne. But I wanted it's to be as realistic as possible. So we also took, for example, for Centre 57, what we did is take some pictures that we found in the archives of when Mr. Rabanne was still there, and try to reproduce it exactly how it was. And then in the meanwhile, we try to, as I was saying, we link each place to a product, to a core line. So then we will try to link and do some quizzes and show the campaign of the product. So it's very merged. It's not pure heritage or pure gaming, and it's not pure education or pure product. And that's kind of the goal that we wanted to get to. And then at the end, you have the text that we try to have as less text as possible, the reading through, and then the teams do the magic.
Always the same thing, try to make it with less text to make it cool.
Yes.
To learn if there is too much text. The timing you were super.
I had very high standard.
A very high standard, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a little bit more time than we usually do. How long was the question from the beginning to the launch? 6 months? We start in April, I would say, actually start, and finish in September, more or less, launch in October. Yeah, so 5 months, okay.
5-6 months, yes.
Okay, perfect.
But also because it was a longer project as well. And it's you change 5 different places. You change of artistic direction each time. So it's more work than, for example, the Christmas game that it was very immersive and we managed to do it in 1 month. And also,
Now that you have testing and you launch it in 7 languages, right? Okay. What's the length of the onboarding? Is 1 hour? Is 40 minutes?
The one that we're doing?
Yes.
We were aiming 20 minutes. It's
20 minutes, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit more.
It's not going to be done.
It's a bit longer, but it's 5 chapters, right?
Exactly.
So it's 5 different steps.
And also, when it comes to the mechanic, another thing that we try to do is exactly that, since we know it's a bit long and we know that the learners don't really have the time to do it, to be able to cut it. So if I get out of the game in chapter 2, that I can come back and continue from where I left it. And it's something of test and learn that we had from the Christmas game, that we didn't really have this opportunity, to pick it up when we left it.
So in terms of engagement features,
yes.
So you have a score. So every time people have a correct or wrong answer, they give earn points.
Yes.
And there is no leaderboard, but you have a little pastille, which is kind of like an avatar, no? It's follow you, it guide you, it's something that is with you all time. You don't have a certificate at the end, no? It's just
no.
Okay, score is very nice too, on the little avatar to guide you.
And if I may, we actually do use the score later to do internal challenges to make sure that we motivate. So at the end, all we needed was that, to make sure that each market, so each country would do some challenges, some competitions, and also incentivize a little bit on the onboarding. And that's what we base the score for.
Okay. Every market do their own.
Yeah, every market does their own.
In terms of, we talk about different markets, with launch in so many countries. So you brief your teams in the different countries. This is the material you have for your onboarding, and you have to launch it. So sometimes people do it differently. I remember of the super score of Brazil, for example, for the last game.
Yes, so basically that's it. Yes, so I would do a Zoom call with each market and explain to them the project. And then, they all adapted to their own needs and to their market reality. So, for example, as you were saying, for the Christmas game, Brazil, they had a super good score, like engagement rate. And then it was thanks to the fact that we had it in a SCORM format, but it can also be sent as a link. So the Brazil market, they knew that if they use the SCORM and just place it imagine in the Sephora University, or it's an example, but in the retailer group, they will have less visibility. So what they did is to send it through WhatsApp, through their WhatsApp group that they have with their team, and that made it have more engagement as well.
Yeah, I remember it was crazy, like the rate. Yeah. But WhatsApp is not maybe the best way for everybody, but it's a good way.
That's the way they use it over. Yeah, for example, that's it. In France, for example, they would never do it. They would never send through WhatsApp the training link.
Too personal.
It's too personal.
I know, like there is so many houses that do they send a link through WeChat for China.
Yeah.
They do WeChat, so I think it depends on the culture.
Yeah. But that's a good thing, to be able to have one big project and then to adapt it to different platforms to make sure that you use it you take the most profit out of it.
We are a bit talking about KPIs, so it can be nice to discuss quickly about a Christmas game we launched last year. So basically, last year, to do a small recap, last year you came to us asking for advent calendar fun about your product to make people remember the main product to sell.
Mm-hmm.
So it was game training. So we will show some extract of the game we've developed to the screen for those on YouTube. Can you tell us quickly a bit about what was this for and the experience?
Yes. It feels now, Christmas feels a million years ago, but basically still. So the idea was, at the end, for all luxury brands, Christmas is the most important time of the year. It's where we sell the most. So how for Christmas, then we will have more freelancers, people who work, and they would only join the brand for a month to boost the sales on Christmas, and then they go back because we don't need so much personnel throughout the year. So that's kind of the core of the reasoning why we launched the Christmas game, because we wanted to make sure that in a very, very short timing, I don't remember how long it was, but it was maybe 5 to 10 minutes? No, 5 minutes, no?
Yeah.
Christmas game. It was very short. It was fast, but it was efficient. We made sure there was a story, so we continued the tagline of the Christmas campaign. And then but learners will learn very fast the basic information they needed to have when it comes to product. So there was no heritage, anything. It was basically pure product, but in a very immersive way. And I remember when we showed it then later in the office, it got very, like, everyone wanted to play. Everyone was playing around it, even though it was not made for them, but it was very, very engaging.
And in terms of KPI, I remember you have a very good NPS score, like people rated very high.
Yes. So we got, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was 4.8 out of 5.
Yeah, exactly.
No? So it was great. It was great because today the other trainings that we do, so the classic digital training modules that we get to do today, the completion rate, it's already very, very low. And then also, like on the Christmas game, people get to write comments, so they would also give their feedback, and you could see how they were extremely happy and excited, and they were asking for more, and that's also why we went for the onboarding.
Okay, and how many people play this experience?
Around 600.
Over 2,000, I think you have 1,000.
1,400, which it doesn't seem so much, but we have to also keep in mind that it was a Christmas season, that we launched it relatively late, very close to the Christmas date. So the learners didn't really have the time to do the game.
And did you add some qualitative feedback, like qualitative? Some people give feedback from different regions.
Yeah, so there was it was basically that they said that it was new, that it was immersive. We saw how there were players that actually replayed the game over and over and again, and that's something that we want, because you learn through repetition as well. So yeah, and then the comments was that it was new, that it was engaging, that it was fun, and also the markets would also do some competitions locally, so that also help also the local trainers to have another tool to motivate the learners to learn more.
From your experience on having launched an onboarding, I will ask you the question: what are the key to launch a good onboarding? What are the main advice you can give to like a learning manager or to a HR manager if they want to create an immersive or like an impactful onboarding? What would be the advice you can give to them?
I think, first of all, patience, a lot of patience, because we don't realize how big the project can be before getting into it. And we don't realize also all the work that it's behind the scenes, the technical side of it. And then I think something that it's key, something we were saying before as well, but is having this empathy. And being able to put yourself in other people's shoes. So always try to see the game from one side, so from the learner's perspective and how they would like to perceive it, and also keeping in mind also your strategy and what's the key messages that you want to pass on. And then obviously know also when to make sacrifices, and also know that understand what your priorities are, to be able to get the final result. I think in the making, since you're also creating an entire universe, you can somehow get lost in some little details and lose track. So I would say it's that. That's my advice.
From having working with many luxury house on the onboarding program, from Emraude point of view, we have some things we think are very impactful is the storytelling. Like when you arrive in a house, it's very important to have like a super storytelling with the culture integrated inside the scenario, to discover the brand through different levels to go through. There is also very important an avatar, like the pasty you have, like something to follow, to guide you. You are not alone. You are with someone through your adventure. So this is very important. The rewards too, scoring or badges, certificates. There is so many things you can add in the module to make it more interesting and impactful for your audience. So this is the main things we do. We like to do to implement inside our onboarding from.
Yeah, but at the end it's this engagement, it's this there's empathy at the end. You try to put yourself at the learner's point of view.
Yeah, totally. Of course, always when thinking about onboarding or any learning, you need to put yourself in the learner point of view.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very hard question, but what are the mistakes to avoid when launching an onboarding? You said that not having the content ready is something, or not overthinking the content. What are the mistakes to avoid?
I think that one of the main mistakes that I could identify, it's also this lack of anticipation that we might have. You know, it's a very changing also universe when it comes to strategy as well. We change often, and also if you lack anticipation, there's also lack of flexibility from your side when you have to maybe adapt the storytelling or adapt the product. Also, when it comes to validations as well, you know, as I was saying before, I think choosing when to be exigent, choosing when to be picky with some things. That's also something that sometimes I realized also from mistakes that I have made as well, that I would focus on some details that maybe aren't so as impactful, you know, and then so you kind of don't advance maybe in the process, etc. So that's at the end you have to make sure that you're not doing it alone, you know, that it I lead the project, but at the end, you know, that I have, so from this side, the Emraude team that helps us, you know, like have the strategy. From my side, I also have the top management that is going to validate different elements.
From what I remember when we worked together, there were also a cultural thing with the different countries. Some products were in the US, in China, but not in the France. There were some things that you also need to prepare in terms of market.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, because I forgot about that, but it's exactly that, the anticipation, you know, and the flexibility. So when we did the Christmas game, it was the first time doing a digital training for me, immersive. So there were some things that at the end we had to do two different squirms to make sure that they're adapted to different countries, because they don't all launch or have the same business priorities. Learning from that, today on the onboarding, for example, we try to make it also, when it comes to the structure, more flexible, to make sure that the markets can, for example, hide some of the chapters if they don't need it. So those are some thing that I learned also from the mistakes, and learning that it can fluctuate a lot, everything changes a lot, and see how you can make for it that the project can adapt the most to the markets.
And what is very important is when you make it too complex. We have seen it so many times about the rating of the experience was a bit lower when you make it too complex.
Yeah,
you have to make it super simple to use. Like for you in store, you can have someone from 19-year-old as like someone 60-year-old selling the product. So the trainees can be young on old and very confident with phone or not. So it's important not to make it too complex. And one other thing which is important is the duration, not to make it too long. Is why 20 minutes is, I think, for onboarding, 20 minutes. It's very nice. We did 1 hour actually with another house, but divided in like five chapters, and it was very separated. So it was like kind of 5-10 minutes learning. So
yeah. But as you were saying at the end, also this simplifying it and making it easy. It's that you can take the example also from iPhone, etc. When they started, they were good phones, but it was also very easy to use, and that's why it got more engagement. So at the end, it's exactly what you're saying, the thing of making it easy, and engaging.
And most things not to forget is that people are in store. Usually, they don't have much time to train.
No. That's it. That when they do this, they do it on their way home. They do it at home, and that's why once again I can understand if it's not fun, if it's not engaging, if there's not a good storytelling. I can completely understand if they won't do it, because they do it on their free time a lot of times as well.
We are talking about the US and Europe having different products or different training to adapt.
Yeah.
do you have like different training for wholesales and like your own store?
Yes, we do. We try to, but it comes more, to the deepness on the training, and also on the length. So I know that if it's an employee that works 100% for Rabanne or even for the Puig group, I have some trainings that are more into detail, that we go more into depth, because I know that they can afford to be more engaged and to give us more of their time. When it's a multi-brand store and they're not employed by Puig or by Rabanne directly, then we try to do something that it's lighter and something that it's very superficial, to make sure that they do have the key information, that they have the key engagement points. But then, yeah, that's it. And then, as you were saying, we adapt it to the market priorities.
We can also adapt the training at Emraude. We do so often, like we can hide some parts that are not relevant for some population and like showcase some.
Exactly.
Some
For
parts.
example, yes, exactly. For example, when we're doing the onboarding, we have Rabanne. Now we have the La Collection, so that our private collection, this one. And then it's our high-end niche fragrances. They are not sold everywhere. It's very well, since it's niche. We have very key selling points. That means that from our learners, very little of them are going to actually sell the product. So we did this thing where you can mask it if you want, if you don't want them to learn about it. Or also on the module, we have this very, very superficial line that we go through it for them to know that it exists, that Maison Rabanne has all this to offer, but then we don't go so much into details. For those who sell La Collection, we have another module on the side that goes more into depth.
But it's the future, the adaptive learning, right?
Yes.
We agree. We are totally involved in the adaptive learning, with this type of example, but also when there is HQ or retail store. Also, it's important when you have like beginners, like people that just join Rabanne, and when people are here since 10 years, you have different training level, and they have different knowledge. So sometimes it can be boring for someone who do the same things they did like for 10 years. So it can be very nice to have like an adaptive learning.
Was it for you challenging when we asked to do the little chapters and to be able to mask different chapters if we wanted to? Was it something that you did before, or was it challenging?
Yes, it's people, our clients ask us a lot this, like to have different things to hide or not. Now we can even do it through a platform where you can hide independing of the market. The market can choose, okay, I want the SCORM with this content, so I'm going to just choose the content I want, and it's generate a SCORM directly. Last question, Montse. What do you think about Emraude, the experience with Emraude? Do you recommend it for an onboarding?
Definitely. And it's not because you are here, but the experience, honestly, with Emraude, it's as I was saying, it's very fluid. I think people don't realize all the work that is behind the creation of this game that only lasts 20 minutes, but you feel really, really supported. I feel like, and that's, as we were saying at the beginning, the fact of understanding the exigence, always having a plan B or a plan C, just in case something doesn't go the way we planned or we imagined at the beginning. This adaptability and always having a yes for an answer, each time you ask for something. And then obviously at the end I saw, because we talk also between other brands, other luxury houses, and I can see, for example, for me, the fact of having the SCORM, the onboarding on different formats, it was life-saving, because as you were saying before, we used it in different situations. We were able to use it through different platforms as well. And I see how for other brands who work with other agencies, they don't really have this option. So for me, yes, I do. I think it was lovely. I think after this onboarding, I would love to have a little bit time where we don't talk about onboarding anymore. But for me, I would always work over and over again with you guys.
Oh, so sweet.
Yes, it's honest.
Thank you so much, Montse, for coming here to our learning lab, and hope to work with you on another project in the future.
Thank you so much for having me here. It was very, very fun. I liked it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching us on this news episode with Rabanne. Another episode we have done with Artisan Parfumeur from the Puig Group. You can check on your YouTube channel and we can see each other very soon. Thank you.
Thank you.